Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description. Dave from New Jersey, you're up next.
Hey Bart, how you doing?
Good. Maybe you played with that. Oh, no, he was at Maryland Live. Sorry.
Maryland, yeah.
Yeah.
I got what should be a pretty quick hand,
Okay.
and then I wanted to chat for a minute or two on the small
Sure.
c-bet sizing on dry boards.
Sure.
The hand is 2-5, 1K effective.
Mm-hmm.
About an hour into the session, and the villain was not very active. When I sat, he had about 2K in front of him, so he got the chip somewhere.
Okay.
Under the gun limps. I'm under the gun +1 with ace of diamonds, jack of diamonds. I make it 25. The villain in the hijack calls. Small blind calls, under the gun calls, so 4 to the flop.
Cutoff calls, small blind, big blind, and limper call. Is that right? Or is that one extra?
One extra hijack, small blind, under the gun.
Hijack, small blind, and under the gun. Okay, got it.
So 100 in the middle.
Yep.
Flop comes out jack 6-7 rainbow.
Okay.
Small blind checks.
Mm-hmm.
Under the gun donks 30.
So he bets 30 into a pot of about 100, something like that.
Right.
And you're 1K effective.
Yes.
You know, it's you will. I mean, I'm assuming that this guy is definitely a recreational player because we just don't see really that lead from good players with that sizing that all that often.
Okay.
Depending on the people behind you, I will actually sometimes raise this bet. And a lot of people look at that and they're like, oh, you know, it's interesting. You had asked me, or you said that you were going to ask a question about small continuation bet sizing. And we've talked a fair amount about what optimal play is in our top section podcast. And what people don't understand, though, is that when you run a program like Pio Solver to find out optimal play, first of all, it's a good baseline, Dave. Like, you know, you're not necessarily going to be taking an optimal line. You're actually quite infrequently not taking an optimal line because you want to, you know, obviously make the most amount of money. But where people don't actually understand is that a lot of times this is a raise anyways in optimal play. Like when people use small sizing, like when he only bets 30 into 100, you're raising for value and for a little bit of protection. I'm not saying I would always raise, but it wouldn't surprise me if the optimal quote-unquote GTO play was here to actually raise. And a lot of people look at that and they're like, oh, it seems so strange to raise a donk board. I mean, I would be doing it as a 2-5 approach, and I would be doing it a fair amount also just if I thought the guy was a fish and always had a jack and was just going to call me down. You know what I mean? So I actually think that I really might make this like 125.
I did raise, but I made it smaller.
Okay. Yeah.
I did 80, and my thoughts were I wanted to actually keep him in because I thought he had a weak jack. That's what a lot of rec players kind of raise with there.
Right. Did you think that making it 125 would, because I'm just looking at the effective stacks here too, so I'm thinking more being value oriented. You think that 125 might have scared him away possibly?
I thought it might have, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I did want to get rid of the guys behind me, especially the one that seemed like he was a better player.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the only thing is that you can sometimes get put into some really tough spots, unfortunately, when you have good players behind you and somebody donks into you, because, you know, if you put me in that spot behind you, I might attack you with some sort of draw, and you can figure out whether or not you're going to play for stacks with like one pair, which a lot of people actually, they figure out what you're doing, and you might actually have to play stacks. You know, if it goes 30 and you make it 80 and some really good player that you think is capable of bluffing 3 bets behind you, and then the donker folds, I actually might stack off here just because of the situation. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as crazy as it sounds, 200 big blinds deep. But anyways, that didn't happen. So 30 to 80, guy calls.
The villain in the hijack flats.
Oh, okay. So you got a flat behind you. Interesting. Now, you think he's a decent player or what?
Yeah, he's been very inactive.
Okay.
And he had a 2x of what a starting stack would be.
Okay.
So I under the gun calls as well.
So the pot's like what, 300 or something, or 330,
340.
340. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And now I'm not feeling anywhere near as comfortable as I was because of the flatter behind me.
Mm-hmm.
The turn then is the 9, bringing in a backdoor spade draw. The 2 spades,
Yeah.
Jack, 6, 7, 9.
Uh-huh.
And the question I have here, is this a bet fold? Or just check to me. Is this a bet fold, bet call, check fold?
Man, that with that hijack guy like flatting behind you, I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, when you look at it, I feel like, well, let's take a look at the draws that he might have pre-flop. I'm going to make the assumption you're saying he's inactive. He's not going to have 8-5 in his hand, right?
8, 9.
Pre-flop, right? 8-9 is a hand that he could have. So I feel like 8-9 here, I don't think it's going to start turning their hand into a bluff. It could be, but a lot of times at this level, guys will just check that back. Also, too, if he has like a hand like King Jack, I think you're going to be able to tell by his sizing on the turn. And again, he might actually check that back too. So I don't really hate a check here and see what the guy in the hijack does. And if he just bombs it, you can just make a kind of an exploitable fold. Or if it goes bet call. I feel like you might be putting in too much money here given this action with the size of this pot and also the turn card too, giving people additional equity. So I very well might check here on the turn.
Okay. I did not.
Okay.
I decided to bet small, and you see what happens behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a spade draw out there. There's still 3 of us seeing that turn.
Yeah.
I bet 125 into 340.
Okay.
And he immediately raises to 600.
And then UTG folds?
Yeah, we both folded on the 600.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can really do anything but just fold here, unless you have some reason to think that he slow plays all his hands to the end and he's trying to move you off of a combo draw. But against 2 people, remember, too, he has to worry about the UTG guy. Say the UTG guy actually woke up with a hand, or he had 9, he had 8-5. You know what I mean? Like, it's bluffing 2 people. Plus, you raise on the flop and led the turn. You're showing a lot of strength. So I would definitely fold.
I thought that was a little easier than the decision. So should I bet or should I check? And you like a check there, I guess.
I do. I think I would probably check here more often than not with ace jack on the turn.
And if he did flop a set and now the second spade comes out, he probably feels obligated to protect it. So I'm going to see that either way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can use like the his bet sizing on the turn sort of and see what he does. And again, it's just a situation where people aren't going to start usually bluffing with 8-9 on the turn all that much. You can actually check call a small bet on the turn, see what he does the river, and see how that fits into his range. So that's probably how I would have approached the hand. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.